In this matchup here, second Dreaming Town comes in super clutch, but we go first, and I'm gonna opt to go Extravagance here. We draw into a bird, double birds actually, and I'm not gonna go over the combo because you guys have seen it 100 times, but this is a very unique scenario here, and it's a good example in why Floowandereeze shouldn't overextend if you don't need to. Because evenly is everywhere. So at this opportunity, I'm like, hey, you know what? I can actually double extend into Snowl because I drew double Eaglin. So I go ahead and I do that, and I put up a pretty strong board, and I'm like, yep, the only thing that really beats me here is evenly matched. The opponent attempts to go battle phase, and of course I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna fall for this bait because it's too valuable. Like you have to really decide if you want to take the evenly or if the opponent is bluffing. Most of the time, I'll just take the evenly. But in this scenario, when I have my map, my M-Pin, and my unexplored winds up, and two of my 4 tribute monsters, I'm like, I have to commit to the apex here. But in most scenarios, this is why I say it's important to try to end on Advent of Adventure as well if you can, because then you can definitely take the evenly, just split it up, banish your M-Pin, search your deck, and then just keep trap card or keep map, whichever one you have in rotation, and then the evenly match just doesn't matter, and that's how you play around evenly with Floowandereeze, but you do need the Advent. Again, Konami, it makes no sense why M-Pin is at 1. A lot of people have even commented about this, talked about this. Please bring it back to at least 2. Because when you set up your end board, if you get even lead once, you're just screwed. Like, if you don't have a way to protect your M-Pin. So, and that's why you need the Advent of Adventure. If M-Pin was at more than 1, you don't need Advent of Adventure, because yeah, you can just banish this M-Pin and just search out your second one. You have another one in your deck, right? So yeah, there's always that to consider. So again, we're putting up a pretty decent board, but at this point, if the opponent is playing evenly matched, I'm anticipating they're not on something like Branded or Tier Limit, the 2 most common decks, or Dragon Link. The opponent reveals Book of Moon, and I'm like, man, I hope this isn't Stun or the Mirror Match. I mean, if it's Stun, I guess I could do okay, but if it's the Mirror Match, I'm in trouble because that evenly match is going to do crazy work. So the opponent here actually makes a misplay. I would have gone Battle Phase, activate evenly, and then if I tried to Apex Negate, I would chain the Book of Moon. That would allow me to keep 2 cards, yes, which actually, may be more detrimental, because then I just end up keeping the M-Pin and the map, and then I'm still pretty much at full power. Yes, I lose 2 of my tributes, but that's fine because I can still keep my Apex and my Ryza in rotation, and Ryza and M-Pin are definitely the 2 best tributes. So maybe this wasn't a misplay, but there is a way that you can play around the Apex negate. So the opponent does go battle phase and evenly, and I'm forced to banish my one and only M-Pin, my Snowl, and my unexplored winds. Now the reason I do this is because I'm making a hard read that they are on Floowandereeze and it's the mirror match, because I'm like, okay, they're definitely going to normal summon, so I'm going to need to use my birds in order to play during their turn still. So no trap card, that's fine, but I do lose my M-Pin. But I think that again, M-Pin against in a mirror match, M-Pin is basically just a searcher. Like, it doesn't really function as more than that, right? Because it's not negating any special summoned monsters, because obviously Floowandereeze doesn't play special summoned monsters. So with that logic, I'm like, yeah, the M-Pin in the mirror match has limited utility. Yes, it is a spell searcher, but I can definitely do without it. So sure enough, the opponent is on Floowandereeze. The D-Fissure helps both of us, so it's neither here nor there in terms of whether they activate it. It does help me realize that, yeah, they're not on like an extra card, but I think I play around Ash the entire time, so like I never end up knowing what this mystery card is, but if it was Ash, I played around it the whole time. So yep, they're gonna go ahead and just go their standard rotation now. They get their M-Pin, and right now I'm thinking like, okay, what is the best way to play around this? They set and they end turn. Notice, because I only had the toucan left for the normal summon, I didn't have Stree in rotation yet. I normal summon Eaglin, and I knew this when I did this. I'm like, I'm gonna put this Eaglin on board because as soon as main phase 1 starts, I have priority. I'm gonna drop the Apex so that I can negate the Dreaming Town, right? I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to search off Eaglin. I knew I didn't have a way to get the Apex back on board here, but I needed to have some kind of setup so I could play around the opponent's Dreaming Town. So we know that they have a Robina in hand and an Eaglin banished and then a mystery card. But this field is actually manageable because again, the M-Pin in the mirror match doesn't actually do all that much. I mean, the spell and trap search is very significant, don't get me wrong, but as an actual like oppressive force on the field, once it's hit the field, it doesn't do that much in the mirror match. In the mirror match, it's useful because it's your spell and trap searcher. So just like I said, I'm going to put Apex on board, Now this is going to force the opponent, well, not force them, but if they do activate Dreaming Town, we will negate for sure, right? So we're going to go ahead and go through our rotation here, I guess, get the Toucan back and flip the M pin face down with the Dreaming Town just to get it in the banished pile. Now that we've used our normal summon for turn, we're going to use our normal summon off map and banish the second unexplored wind. So again, this is why it's so important, because even though I lost my 1 of M pin, which is my spell and trap searcher, map can still banish your spells and traps, and you can get them back with the Toucan. So it's not all lost. So you can see here, we're going to get back the unexplored winds, normal summon the Eaglin, get back the other Eaglin from the banished pile, and search for Ryza here. Okay, go ahead, double tribute for Ryza, and again, if the opponent opts to activate that Dreaming Town, we will negate with Apex. So we end up putting back the evenly match because it's a dead card while Fissure is on the field, and their M pin back into their deck. And again, we know they have Robina, we know they have Eaglin. They try to activate this, we Apex negate. So we're doing okay here. Battle phase, they let it go through. And of course, I have to return the Ryza to hand because it's my only tribute monster left. Once I lose this, it's over, right? For real. I mean, yes, the Apex can get bounced back and forth, but it's really conditional. But yeah, main phase 2, the opponent still opts not to activate the Dreaming Town, and we're going to go ahead and just put back the Ryza so we have a search target for Eaglin, just basically allowing us to have a 4th summon. The opponent does not activate Dreaming Town during our turn, so this is very interesting. Unfortunately, at this point now, these Advent of Adventures are kind of useless in the mirror match, but we still set it just in case. So as expected, you know, they are waiting for their own turn to activate Dreaming Town. We're going to negate and destroy it with the Apex, and the opponent has the Robina and Eaglin, and you know, they have 2 mystery cards now, which isn't good, right? Every draw is a danger for us. So they're going to go ahead and go through their rotation, and I'm going to obviously trigger map here, normal summon Eaglin, and search for the Ryza that I ended up putting back with the unexplored winds. Of course, there'll be, you know, the way that the effects resolve is that the opponent obviously has priority, it's their turn, so on their effects they're going to be higher chain links. So the opponent makes an interesting play here, and I was kind of making this read again. They search for Ryza, and I'm like, okay, this is a mistake for them because I know how to play around this. Normally it would have been a very good play and a very smart play, but they're anticipating probably to get some utility out of the Evenly that I stocked on top of their deck. They realize that M-Pin, well, M-Pin actually would still do a lot because it can search them for unexplored winds or for map, but the Ryza is going to, like, they think I'm going to tribute summon, right? And they're like, well, I'm going to tribute summon first and then just out your cards and then clear your field either way, and then, you know, or I can clear my own field and have your utility off my Evenly and clear out your second unexplored winds, your map. Like, I'll force you to make a choice again between what spells you want to keep, right? So I make a very interesting play here. So the opponent, you know, having the higher or being priority player, they have to summon the Ryza and show me what they're doing first. So I'm like, okay, you are putting back your Dreaming Town, you are spinning back my unexplored winds to the top of my deck, and you're putting back your Fissure back to hand. Now, the opponent used Advent to banish their first Monarch, so they're playing 2 Monarch here. So there's no way you're playing 3, right? So you're not putting this Monarch back to hand. You're committed now with no more Monarch left in your deck. So instead of going for my tribute monster and clearing your field so you can evenly match me, I'm going to normal summon Robina. Yes, I'll lose the draw of the unexplored winds that you just stacked on top of my deck, but I'm fine because I know you have a Toucan in hand because you left the Robina and Eaglin in your banish pile, and you searched Toucan with the Robina. You're out of summon, so you can't normal summon right now, and you clearly don't have map. So you got Toucan in hand, you've got the Dimensional Fissure you just put back, and you drew an evenly matched return, and you still got this mystery card, which apparently is nothing, but again, I'm assuming it's Ash, and I'm playing around the whole time. So I end up searching for Stree, which is the 4th bird in rotation, and I choose not to continue summoning off the Robina here. I'm like, this is it. Go ahead, beat over my cards. Your Ryza is stuck on the field. I'm not going to give you the ability to evenly me and then set up something afterwards. I'm going to force you to keep that Ryza because I can just out it next turn with my double summons. Normal summon for turn, normal summon off map, right? That gives me my last 2 tribute monsters that I have here in rotation. And again, keeping 2 birds on board means that I don't need to overcommit my board because I can't search anything with Eaglin, so it fizzles if I summon it, right? So keeping it on board here is beneficial. You can only out one of my cards with the Ryza, and this is likely just a bluff, right? Evenly and Dimension Fissure that you set. So at this point, I start off with Prosperity, just seeing if I could dig back into the unexplored winds. Just makes it a little bit faster, tributing over the opponent's cards. But obviously, I just slap both of these monsters on board, return this into the hand or deck, and that, you know, between the 28 and 27 damage, that's more than, or just about 5,800, and that should be game. So again, off of map, I banished the unexplored winds that the opponent spun back, and this is again another reason why 2 toucan can be very beneficial. Again, it's situational depending on what you want to do, but the second toucan here is able to get me the unexplored winds. But now we're going to go into Apex, and then we're going to normal summon for turn Ryza, and then the opponent, I guess, just wanted to see me play out the sequence, make sure I knew what I was doing, and sure enough I did, and they end up scooping before we get to battle phase 2, win the game.